Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And let Yahweh be magnified. Once again, the Creator has allowed us to come before you on another beautiful, glorious day, even this night, to bring to you his great, holy, and exalted words. I know you are accustomed to me bringing to you 40 minutes or less, or nothing but the truth. But this is a mix between the two this week, because this is our conference week. And so I wanted to come before you live once again as before, rather than just taping something, because it is our conference week. And we want to invite everyone out to our 28th restoration of the sacred laws of the Most High Conference. In this conference, it will be here at 2330 Kemper Lane in Cincinnati, Ohio, but also at this conference on the Sabbath day, it will be at the Aloft Hotel in Newport, Kentucky on Newport Levee. We want to invite everybody from Cincinnati. We have plenty of rooms available at the Aloft Hotel this weekend, and so come out and enjoy yourself. We will go over the various activities we have planned for everyone. But to our subject matter tonight and this week, I also will update you on the subject matter for the conference. But let us deal with this conference or the subject matter tonight. And that is, who is the expert on relationships? And this is part 2. Of course, part 1 is a tape, 40 minutes or less program that you can get on YouTube. This one is live, part 2. And the other various parts that we will deal with on this particular subject matter, relationships, will be live. And then we'll do some other things that are taped. It still may be 40 minutes or less, or it could be a little bit more, because it's a mix between the two. So let us get into this subject matter. Who is the expert on your relationships? Here it is. Many people, and I apologize for the phone buzzing, but many of our people, when they go to get and receive expert advice, expert counsel on their relationships, oftentimes this counsel and advice comes from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. They might come from various different psychologists, psychiatrists, people who call themselves expert on relationships, various religious leaders who might counsel you, who call themselves so-called reverends and pastors and bishops and so forth and so on. So there's a lot of people. And now most of the advice our people receive on relationships is from their friends. Go figure. But this is who they listen to. But really, let's just be honest. Who really is the expert on relationships? And I'm here to tell you, and will debate anybody on this particular matter, that the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is the only expert that we have that exists on relationships. Not me, not you, not another a pastor or minister, moray or priest. No, it's the creator. And his expert advice, his expert counsel is in his word. But this is the thing that most people don't understand and don't realize. They don't realize they have not learned who is the expert on the word of Yahweh. Just because you speak in his word don't make you an expert on his word. And that's where you're going to have to learn to do your homework. Because a lot of people call themselves a man of Elohim or a man of God. But really, are they? When will you put everyone to the test and see who truly is an expert? Again, on relationships is the Most High. In part one, we dealt with various terms that people use all the time, and they don't even know what these terms mean. They don't know what the word husband means. They don't know what the word wife means. They don't know their purpose. They don't even know what the word man and woman mean. But yet, they call themselves man. They call themselves woman. They call other people husband, call other people wives. They will call themselves a father and a mother. They will have sons and daughters, but these terms, as I stated, these terms come from the Most High. And our people don't know what they mean. But Yahweh do. And Yahweh has told us, Yahweh has showed us exactly what these things mean. I won't go over part one today, but we will refresh it. But right now, I want to emphasize part two on relationships. Most people under the erroneous impression that the very first relationship on the earth was between one called Adam and another one called Eve. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Matter of fact, it's not the truth, because it is not the first relationship that Yahweh made, Yahweh created, and Yahweh designed. And let me show you the very first relationship that came from the Most High. You'll read this in the book of Genesis, the first chapter. And it don't matter what book you adhere to. It's not going to change this fact. Whether you go by the Quran or any other of these religious books, the facts that I'm about to bring to you is not going to change. The truth that I'm going to tell you will not change whatsoever, no matter what you believe. Because these proofs are natural born truths, or what you might call facts. But what's the first relationship in the scriptures? You're going to read it in the book of Genesis, the first chapter. And we're going to start reading at the 26th verse. And watch what this says. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Excuse me. Want to get my water? And then it continued to say, so Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. So little do people know. The very first relationship, designed, made, created, and I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt what I'm telling you is the truth, is between Elohim and man. Not Elohim and man and woman, as you will see. And as we pointed out in part 1, you notice it's talking about man because he made man in his image and his likeness. We know this is talking about man because woman was never called man. She was called one man. Even if you go back to the Hebrew, she still was not called man in no type of Hebrew word. The only word that the Creator would use with this woman come from the Hebrew word Isha, which goes right to woman. And Isha never, ever means man. Period. So this is talking about man. And the word also don't mean mankind. But he made man in his image and after his likeness. Furthermore, to show you that I'm telling you the truth, and watch this. Oh, let me read the 28th verse. Because it says, and Elohim blessed them. You know, they threw that them in. So you can think it's talking about both. And Elohim said unto them, but really he didn't. And I'm going to prove that to you. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and had dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And no, Yahweh didn't say that to them. Yahweh said that to him. He commanded the man to do this. And I'm going to prove that to you. Watch what it says in the book of Genesis, the 5th chapter. Because how do you establish the truth in the scriptures? Well, the scriptures say, let every matter be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Precept must be upon precept. Line must be upon line. Here little and there little. So we want to establish what the Creator is saying. So you can see that this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But watch this. Witness number 2 in the book of Genesis, the 5th chapter. Watch what it says. And we're going to start reading at the very first verse. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that Elohim created man, in the likeness of Elohim made he him. Why say made he him? Because truly, he was the one made in his likeness. Even though in the second verse, watch this. Male and female created he them, because he did. And he blessed and called their name Adam, because Adam became a name that she took from her husband, in what you're going to see. But we're going to go back, and you're going to see that before she even took this name on, there was a relationship already born, made, designed before her creation. Watch this. The third verse. And Adam lived 130 years, and he begot in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And what was that? A son. Because truly, that's who bears the image of the likeness of a man, is a son. And you're going to see this throughout all the scriptures. You will not see this with a daughter or a woman when it comes to the Most High, nor when it comes to a man and his children. It is the son that bears this. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to believe that. But watch the scriptures. Don't believe me. Believe what you read. Watch what it says. The third witness. Genesis, the 9th chapter. In the book of Genesis, the 9th chapter, this is what it says. Just to show you I was telling you the truth, in Genesis, the 1st chapter, when the scripture said, and he blessed them and commanded them to be fruitful and multiply. Watch what it says in the book of Genesis, the 9th chapter, the very first verse. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons. It didn't say Elohim blessed Noah and them. No, it's talking about Noah and his sons. But he blessed them to do what? And said unto them, who? Noah and his sons, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. That's what he commanded them. And this commandment is no different than what the Almighty did with Adam. Furthermore, in the 6th verse, watch what it says. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. And watch this. For in the image of Elohim made he man. As you can see, it's going to keep referring to man as the image, as the likeness of Elohim. And we're going to get to the woman. Don't worry, we're going to tell you exactly not only her purpose, but why she was even made. And not only that, we're going to show you something that most people won't show you. How she is made. We're going to show you that. The fourth witness about who is the expert on relationships. The first thing you need to learn is that before there was a man and a woman, there was a relationship between a father and a son. Elohim and the one that he made in his own image and likeness. Here it is in the book of Genesis. Watch this. Genesis, the 2nd chapter. If you don't believe me, watch what it says. Genesis 2. The 7th verse. And Yahweh Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Is this how Yahweh made a woman? He didn't make a woman this way at all. That's how you know he's not talking about her. We're going to show you how he made her. But also in this Genesis, the 2nd chapter, watch what it says. The 18th verse. And Yahweh Elohim said, it is not good that man should be alone. Because the one that he made in his image, the one that he made in his likeness was all alone. There was no woman there. She hadn't even been made yet. Yahweh had already put him in a garden. Yahweh had already formed him. Yahweh had already commanded him. Yahweh had already formed a relationship with him that he wanted him to fulfill as his son before there was a one man. And watch what it says. And Yahweh Elohim said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And that's what Yahweh did. But to make a woman, she came later. And this is how she was made. In the 21st verse. And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. He slept. He took one of his ribs, closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. So, again, this is the point. The point is, who's the expert on your relationship? See, here it is. People are talking about relationships without even acknowledging the very first relationship formed and made. And not only they're not acknowledging the very first relationship formed and made, they refuse to acknowledge the various terms that Yahweh will use to form that relationship. And I'm going to show you a couple of those terms. But right before I showed you a couple of those terms, watch this. In the book of Genesis, the 6th chapter. This thing was so important to Yahweh. Yahweh was so detailed about this relationship. So, in other words, there was nothing greater than this relationship that Yahweh will form. Watch this. Genesis, the 6th chapter. And this is what it says in the first verse. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. Now watch what happens. That the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And Yahweh didn't like that, because you're going to learn that many of these wives, Yahweh never wanted his sons with them, because they were his sons. They were made in his image and his likeness. And not every man will resemble the image and the likeness of Yahweh. That's why you're going to have to learn what this image and this likeness is, what it looked like. And Yahweh said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So because these sons began to take on the daughters of men, Yahweh reduced the life expectancy where men was living to almost 1,000 years. Now, he prophesied and began to put in man that they only going to live up to 120 years, just like Moses did. And why? Because the sons of Elohim refused to go and do exactly what they supposed to be doing when it comes to relationships. So watch this in the 5th verse. And Elohim saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil. And it repented Yahweh that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And Yahweh said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping things, fowls of the air, for it repented me that I made them. And at the point that Yahweh destroyed man, guess what? He destroyed everybody and everything. And why? Because man was the cream of the crop. They were the top dog. They were the ones in his image and likeness. So if they wasn't right, and they wasn't going to do right, then Yahweh seen everything corrupted. But Yahweh always have a remnant. Watch the 9th verse, or 8th verse. But Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahweh. Now you see why the Almighty started everything over with Noah and his sons. But it's always been about the sons of Elohim. It's always been about this man that was made in his image and likeness. That most people don't understand this relationship. And I'm going to show you how important it is so that you can get with the program, because if you don't get with the program, and I'm talking about Yahweh's program, it's only because Yahweh don't want you a part of his program. Watch this in the book of Malachi. Watch the various terms that Yahweh will use that you don't even know what they mean. For example, in the book of Malachi, the first chapter, and watch what the Creator says. We're talking about who is the expert on relationships. I'm telling you, it's Yahweh. It's not me. It's not you. Yeah, I'm reading this. I'm telling you this. I'm teaching you this. But anybody can teach you this if they had the knowledge of Elohim. But a lot of people don't have the knowledge of Elohim. So they're not going to tell you about the very first relationship formed that one needs to know before they enter into a whole nother relationship. They're not going to teach you that this relationship is greater than the relationship between a man and a woman. They're not going to tell you that. Between a husband and a wife. Nor will they tell you that. Because then they will have to acknowledge that, oh yeah, it's the Creator who is the expert. And so I got to listen to him. Watch this in the book of Malachi, the first chapter. Watch this. The 6th verse. It said, a son honoreth his father. Now, why is it going right to a son? Because I'm trying to emphasize to you how important to Yahweh this relationship is. It is the greatest of relationships. And not understanding this relationship, you don't even understand your maker, your creator, your Elohim. Watch what it says. A son honoreth his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, because Yahweh was a father before there was a woman involved in anything. Before there was children on the earth, Yahweh had a son. We don't understand that. Did not Yahweh say it is not good for man to be alone? Because Yahweh had a son that was alone. And Yahweh was his father. Watch this. A son honor his father, he's supposed to, and a servant his master, if then I be a father. Where's my honor? And Yahweh is a father. He was the first father. That's why he called himself a father. And if I be a master, and what is a master? A father. What is a master? A husband. What is a master? A man that marries a woman. That's a master. These are the things we're going to have to study and learn. Here it is. We done got married and we don't realize that we gave someone the license to be a master over us. And you don't even want that. Because you never was taught what marriage, what a husband, what a father really is. So therefore, you looking at me right now, or may see me later, and you're going to be angry by the words I'm saying. And all you got to do is look up the words. Watch this. Where is my fear, said Yahweh of hosts unto you, O priests that despise my name? And ye say, wherein have we despised thy name? You despise his name because you're supposed to represent me as a son. You're supposed to represent me. And where is my representation? I gave you dominion over the beasts of the earth, over the fowl of the air, over the fish of the sea. I even gave you dominion and rulership even over the one that I call woman, the one that I call your helpmate so you won't be alone. And I'm going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. A man is master of his wife. Even though you're not going to believe it. The word husband means master. The word married means master. Just look it up and see if I'm telling you the truth. But let me show you how this relationship that we're speaking about, we're speaking on relationship, and how can we speak on relationships and not speak on the very first relationship? I want you to see Yahweh wrote a whole book on the mastery of this relationship. And let me tell you what this book is called. It's called the book of Proverbs. And turn there. The book of Proverbs. Something else you're not going to like. The book of Proverbs come from the Hebrew word mashal. And guess what it means? To rule. To have dominion over. That's what it means. In 24 different times, 12 different scriptures, or 12 different chapters of scriptures in Proverbs. But 24 scriptures, you will see who Yahweh is speaking about. Now, remember, the word Proverbs means to rule. Mashal. And you will see Yahweh all through Proverbs. And why do I say Yahweh? Because Proverbs is the book of wisdom. And who do you think wisdom come from? You think that came from Solomon? No, Solomon is just the instrument that wrote Proverbs. But all wisdom comes from Yahweh. And let me show you one of the very first wisdoms that he will give his son. Because there's no proverb that would say my daughter. All through Proverbs, it would say my son. And why? Because this is the very first relationship on earth. Watch this. Proverbs, the first chapter, the 8th verse. Watch what it says. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Yahweh said that. But why is he telling his son that? Because his son will one day become a master, chief. His son will become a father. His son will rule. Watch this, the 10th verse. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. This is what he wanted his son to know. The third thing he wanted his son to know in the 15th verse. My son, walk not thou in the way of them. Refrain thy foot from their path. Yeah, you fill in the spaces, but I want you to see who is speaking to, and that's his son. Because it was him and his son before any relationship on the earth. It is the first and it is the most important relationship on earth. Watch this. In Proverbs 2, the very first verse. This is the fourth thing. My son, if thou receive my words and hide my commandments with thee. Because if you don't, how else can you rule? How else can you be chief? How else can you be a master? Watch this. In Proverbs 3, the very first verse. My son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep my commandments. Verse 11. My son, despise not the chastening of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. Verse 21. My son, let not them depart from thy eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. Proverbs 4. And watch what it says. The third verse. We'll start at the first verse on this one. Because in English it is a hear ye children. But that's not what it says. It says, hear, my son. Because this word is bane, which means son, not children. The instruction of a father and attend to no understanding. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law. For I was my father's son, tender, only beloved in the sight of my mother. It's all about my son. You don't want it to be about it. You don't want to be exclusively to him. But to Yahweh, it is. Watch this. In the 10th verse, hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. 20th verse. My son, attend to my words, incline thy ear unto my sayings. Proverbs 5. Watch what it says. Or Proverbs 6. No. Proverbs 5, the very first verse. My son, attend to my wisdom, bow thy ear to my understanding. And then the 20th verse. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? And we're going to show you what the book of Proverbs say about the woman. What it actually teach about to the son. So he'll know. Proverbs 6. Watch what it says. The very first verse. My son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger. The third verse. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself. When thou art coming to the hand of thy friend, go, humble thyself, and make sure thy friend. 20th verse. My son, keep thy father's commandment and forsake not the law of thy mother. And I know people think that he's dividing the man and the woman. He's dividing the husband. No, I'm not. What I'm doing is making the crooked thing straight. See, the reason why these relationships are in total chaos is because you refuse, and many of our people refuse to even acknowledge and even try to understand the very first relationship that Yahweh formed and made, and how it is the greatest relationship that was formed and made on earth. And once you understand that, then you can understand your own relationship. Then you can understand your own marriage. But you will never understand that if you don't even understand the marriage that Yahweh formed and made first. Watch this. Proverbs 7:1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Proverbs 19. We're going through the whole book of Proverbs. The 27th verse. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causes to err from the words of knowledge. You hear that? And how many people are you listening to that's causing you to err from the words of knowledge? Some people will say, I'm causing you to err. But all you got to do is read what I'm telling you. And I can assure you, you're going to agree that I'm telling you the truth. Proverbs 23. Watch what it says. The 15th verse. My son, I didn't put that in the book. If thy heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Of course it's going to rejoice if you wise. The 19th verse. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thy heart in the way. 26th verse. My son, give me the heart, and let thy eyes observe my ways. See, what people don't realize, once a man, a son of Elohim, began to be who he really was made and designed to be, then he can be the man that you will most likely love. Unless you don't want a man of Elohim. And everybody don't want a man of Elohim. Watch this, Proverbs 24. The 13th verse. My son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to thy taste. Yahweh wants you to eat that for a reason. Watch this. 21st verse. My son, fear thou Yahweh and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. All tokens of wisdom, signs of wisdom. Proverbs 27. We're almost done. Watch this. The 11th verse. My son, be wise, make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. The last Proverbs, and I love this last Proverbs, is in Proverbs 31. And why do I love it? Because this is a Proverbs. All the other Proverbs was brought forth by man. Not Proverbs 31. This proverb is bona fide, certified, brought by a woman. So there is no excuses now, because you can't say, well, a man said this. But what about this one? The very last proverb. Watch what it says. In the book of Proverbs 31, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. This is what his mother said. What, my son? That's how you know it's her words. What, the son of my womb? That's how you know it's her and not him. And what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. And it's going to tell you the ways that destroy kings. But even before you even get to ways that destroyeth kings, give not thy strength unto women. Why? Because they're going to try to take it. They're going to try to zap it. They want you to share it. They want to be equal. They're going to use it against you. But don't give them your strength. And you got to know what your strength is. And I can tell you right now what your strength is. Your strength is that you was made in the image and the likeness of Elohim. And if you do not resemble him, you're going to be zapped. If you don't listen to him, you're going to be zapped. If you don't walk in his ways, you're going to fall short. The last scripture is in the book of 2 Samuel. And this is what it says. 2 Samuel. And this is not a proverb, but this came from one of the greatest men that ever lived. The Almighty said this was a man after his own heart. And you'll read his last words in the book of 2 Samuel, the 23rd chapter. And watch what it says. Starting at the very first verse. Now these be the last words of David, the son of Jesse, and a man who was raised up on high, the anointed of the Elohim of Yaakov, the sweet psalmist of Israel said, watch what he say. The Spirit of Yahweh spoke by me, and his word was in my tongue. The Elohim of Israel said, the rock of Israel spoke to me. He that ruleth over me, and that word ruleth come from the Hebrew word mashal, which they translate proverb. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of Elohim. And how do we learn that fear? His word, his proverbs, the very book that teach you how to rule, how to be a master, how to be a chief, how to be a father, how to be a husband. Matter of fact, the book will teach you even how to be Elohim. And he shall be as the light of the morning when the sun rises, even the morning without clouds, as the tender grass springing out of the earth by clear shining after rain. That's how important this relationship is to the Most High. And who is the Most High? Yahweh, the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is there it is. And until you acknowledge, learn, and understand this very first relationship, you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to be in a marriage, but it ain't going to be right until you begin to fulfill his words. Again, who is the expert on relationships? Yes, Yahweh. And until tomorrow, Yahweh love you. And so do I. Shalom.